good afternoon, and welcome to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I am your host, Kevin King. He is I, and I am him, the 800 Credit Score Man himself. And once again, thank each and every one of you for coming in and listening to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I truly appreciate it. Hey, so what are we going to talk about today? I think I missed you guys last week. I was able to attend and fortunate to attend the Indiana Black Expo Anderson, Indiana chapter parade. So I was in that parade. Good friend of mine, Jason Townsend, was actually the Grand Marshal. Went down to walk with him in the parade. And so that's where I was last week. In addition to that, I was also privileged to be a guest at the wedding of Julian and Crystal Scruggs. So I want to say congratulations and best wishes to Julian and Crystal Scruggs. May you have many years of wedded bliss ahead of you. And since I'm talking about weddings right now, let me shout out this wedding anniversary for Leslie and Carla Baker. Yes, they celebrated their anniversary just recently, I think yesterday or the day before. So happy anniversary to you guys. So what are we going to talk about today? Today, we're going to talk about several things. I'm going to hit some highlights on some things, some new, not necessarily new information, but something that's new out, an article that came out about actually one of the presidential candidates talking about credit and credit scores. So we're going to hit that today, as well as a few tips on what you need to do and to increase your credit. And we got a good question of the day too that comes from Indiana. So let me jump into this first thing first. I missed last week to shout out London and Landon. London and Landon, these twins, 8 years old. I want to say happy birthday to you, because you know I like to do the youngest among us. So happy birthday to you, London and Landon, two of my favorite little cousins, you guys, these twins. All right, so let me jump into this. So earlier this week, I posted, if you're not following me, follow me on Facebook, 800 Credit Score Man there. Follow me on Instagram, 800 Credit Score Man on Instagram, or follow me on Twitter. That is at Credit Score _man on Twitter. That's at Credit Score _man on Twitter. Follow me there so you can get the stuff that goes on during the week before the show comes out. Follow me in those places. If you follow me on Twitter, I absolutely follow you back, like no questions asked. So if you got 4 Twitter followers and you want a 5th, then you go ahead and follow me and I'll follow you back on Twitter. So what I posted was my credit score. So I tell you guys, I don't like to pay for things you don't have to. I mean, the whole point and purpose of you getting your credit score up is so you can pay lower interest rates, which saves you money, right? So then why would I just go pay for other stuff? I don't like paying for additional things. So I like to get my credit scores where I can get it for free, not just like with Credit Karma, that's the Vantage score, but also FICO score. So one of my credit cards, and actually I think maybe all of my credit cards give you an option to look at your credit score and get your score for free on a monthly basis. So one of my credit cards does that, and that's the one I usually check most often to see. And I told you guys a little while ago that my credit score was 839. And it was so close to 850. I had never really thought about, hey, let me try for 850. Let me get this 850, right? I never thought about it before. Now, previously, my score, at least on one of the credit bureaus, was 847 some time ago. But 839 is the highest it's been in, a couple of years or whatever it's been. So it was 839. So I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and make this push for 850. Now, maneuvering your credit can cause it to go down. I mean, it can cause it to go up, right? But it can cause it to go down as well. So you do have to be careful in the maneuvers and things that you do, because it will impact your score. And then sometimes, seemingly for no reason at all, your credit score falls or what have you, or even goes up. Things just happen with this credit scoring system that sometimes we are not aware of the reason behind it. So anyway, I was 839. And then the next month, and I put all this on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So the next month after that, my credit score actually fell. It fell 26 points. It fell to 813. So seemingly for no reason at all. But I actually know the reason that it fell. So a couple of my accounts, a couple of my credit card accounts did not update that month. Now, this is the first time since I monitor my credit doggedly this is the first time that these credit cards or anything hasn't updated for me actually correctly, like every month, the way it should. So they didn't. So two of them did not update. One of them did. Two of them definitely did not update correctly at all. So they didn't look like I made a payment. Didn't show me late or anything of that nature, but it didn't look like I made a payment. You know, the balance was still the same. All of those things. So they didn't update. That is, I think, because this is guesswork a little bit, I think that's the reason that my score fell, because it looked like I didn't do anything positive for it. And actually, one of the credit cards went up, and then the other two kind of stayed the same with the same balances, and then that caused my credit score to go down. Did my utilization change? No. My utilization didn't change, not far as what I actually did, but far as the credit bureaus was concerned, my utilization was higher than it was before, and it's well under 30% anyway, but it went up. So that caused this influx, and it was a whole 23 points. That's a lot of points to be losing, especially for not really doing anything at all. I didn't get an inquiry, anything of that nature. That's a lot of points to lose. So I lost those points. I lost those 23 points. But I told you guys before, when you have a higher credit score, you actually get hurt a little more than someone with a lower credit score when you do the exact same things. So this is what happened. So went from 839, dropped to 813, and then lo and behold, looky, I went and checked it out the other day, and that's why I posted it. And my credit score was, do I have a drum roll? I don't think I have a drum roll. My credit score was actually 863. Yes, 863 over 850. Now, I know you're listening to me, and you've listened to the 800 Credit Score Man show, and you know that your FICO score should be running from 300 to 850. The higher, the better. And mine is actually 863 on this particular FICO. Now, how in the world could that happen? How in the world are you getting a 863, a over 850? I'll tell you how. So some credit cards, and this is why you have so many different credit scores. So some credit cards, and not all, but mostly of the major ones, for them, since they're kind of industry specific, like we talked about before, like cars are industry specific. You have an industry specific score for that. Mortgages, there's an industry specific score for your mortgages. Well, with credit cards, they're very similar to that. And credit card companies, at least some of them, have a credit score that runs from 250 to 900. So your credit score could be anywhere from 250 to 900 when it comes to a credit card. So that's why my score, because I get it from one of my credit cards, is 863. So it's over 850. I'ma claim it. I'm gonna claim it as being all good and me having a perfect credit score. That's what I'm claiming. So you can do what you want with it, but that's what I'm claiming. All right. So I just wanted to explain that. If you want to follow me on any of those places so we can discuss. You can see what's going on all during the week, and you don't have to wait till Saturdays at 2:30 Eastern time, typically, even though I'm late today, 1:30 Central and 11:30 on the West Coast. So that's what happened with the 863, especially if you were already listening, already looking, you already follow me, and you saw that, and you're like, what in the world's going on? That's what happened with my credit score being 863. All right, so let me jump into some other stuff. Give me a couple more shout outs, and let's jump into what we're talking about today. I want to shout out Kelly Glover. She celebrated her birthday last week. I didn't get to shout her out. Antoine Collins, one of my frat brothers, and a 10 Club. I'm a 10. Antoine Collins celebrated his birthday. He's a crooner, you guys. This man can sing. You guys look him up. That's Antoine. Antoine Collins. Chris Artis. He celebrated his birthday, so happy birthday to him. Antoine Hauser, one of my frat brothers as well, right there in Indiana at the Indianapolis Alumni Chapter. Happy birthday to you, Antoine Hauser. And Shira Lampkin, I want to say happy birthday to her as well. All right, so let's jump into what this political candidate said. And this is a non-political show, but if it's talking about credit, and I don't care who says it, we're going to talk about credit on this show, the 800 Credit Score Man show. So one of the candidates, Kamala Harris, introduced a bill some time ago to add utilities, cell phones, and rent to people's credit scores. Now, if you've been listening to the show, we discussed this already. We discussed this before. We discussed it when we talked about Experian doing Ultra FICO. We already discussed this, right? But this is a bill that's coming to the floor, potentially coming to the floor, that's going to add or could potentially add your utilities, your cell phone, and your rent to your credit report. And it's really targeting people that have a thin credit file. You know what a thin credit file, we talked about that too. That's when you have limited number of accounts on your credit report. People with the best credit scores, they have 21, 22 accounts on their credit report. That doesn't mean that they hold balances. That doesn't mean that they're all open. That means that they have 21, 22 accounts. Your account's going to stay on your credit report if it's a bad one for 7 years, if it's a good one for 10 years, so you can have a multitude of accounts. You bought a car 3 years ago, you turned that car in and got another car. That old car is still on your credit report. It shows paid, it shows closed, but it's still on your credit report and it stays on your credit report. So that's how you accumulate these number of accounts. So 21, 22 accounts, right? But these are for people, typically targeting people with a thin credit file. But it doesn't mean if you only have, if you have 10 accounts that it won't help you as well. But this is what was introduced. So apparently it's a bipartisan bill. So there are Republicans and Democrats that are, in agreement with adding these things to your credit report and making it official, basically, I guess, if you want to call it that. Because right now, Ultra FICO's looking at doing it, and that's only dealing with Experian. So this one would deal with both TransUnion, Equifax as well. So you have that. And, of course, if you don't know how this works when it comes to Congress, of course, others have, some additions they might want to add to this bill or subtract some things from this bill. And at this point, in our political climate, I would be surprised if it goes anywhere, but potentially it could go somewhere because what I read, at least anyway, with it being bipartisan, a lot of times they like to call it bipartisan. If it's all Republicans and you have one Democrat on board, they want to call it bipartisan. In my estimation, that's not bipartisanship. That's one guy that came over to the other side. That's one lady that came over to the other side. If it's on this particular bill, it looks like there's a multitude of Democrats and Republicans that are part of this particular bill, and they support it. So those are the couple of things that's happened. So a couple experts, I posted a article, which is another reason you need to follow. Oh, and get in Credit Score Comeback, that Facebook group, Credit Score Comeback. Get in that particular Facebook group because we discussed this. I posted the article about it, and then there's even a follow-up article I posted as well about it, and people have been commenting on it and talking about their feelings and their opinions on that. So in this article, a couple of credit experts, they give their opinion as well. So yeah, you join Credit Score Comeback and read that article, or you can even go to my Facebook page because I posted it there as well, 800 Credit Score Man. So I posted that article which states that, and then I also posted the other article that states what it would mean for you. Like, what does this absolutely mean for you? If this bill were to go through, how does this impact your credit score specifically? So it talks about those things. And so you go ahead and do that. Now, if you want this directly, you don't want to get on Facebook and you don't want to join Credit Score Comeback or what have you, and you don't want to do those things, then text me directly today. Text me directly or when you listen to it, because a lot of people listen on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When you listen to the show, text me and I will send it to you directly. So text me at 312-600-5855. That's 312-600-5855. Text me and I will send you this particular article. Actually, both articles, I'll send them to you. All right. So let me tell you my opinion about what's going on with this and what I think about it. And I've told you before already. My opinion, since we talked about it before, is that one, Ultra FICO is something that's attempting to do this already. But again, it's only on the one credit bureau, and that's with Experian. So you'll have, once Ultra FICO launches, which was supposed to be in the first quarter of this year, and it has yet to launch, you would have a higher credit, potentially a higher credit score on Experian and Experian only. But if that does you no good,